And now Major League Baseball teams are in training camps. They're hosting intra-squad games. And our Major League Baseball analyst joins us, Gregg Zaun, 16-year Major Leaguer, World Series champion. And he's got his... Are you playing today, Zauni?
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to strap it on and go.
Yeah, always game ready.
That. You know it. You know it.
Zauni is the biggest.
Got my big one. Got my white. Got my replica. See that? All Rider Nation here, baby.
Zauni, how closely are you following the plight of the CFL right now? You're a smart guy. You're in a Canadian market. Are you concerned about the future of this league, by the way, just ahead of getting into the baseball talk?
Yeah, really concerned about it, to be honest with you. I know that there's a lot of purists out there who, want to see the game format, the league remain kind of intact the way it is. But, I think that people might need to embrace the idea, or at least entertain the idea, of the Canadian Football League becoming kind of like a AAA for the NFL. Get subsidized by the NFL. I know I might be speaking some blasphemous words here, but it seems to me that there's a lot of talented players that deserve an opportunity to play, to keep playing, and who knows, maybe becoming an affiliated league with the NFL might be the answer to the future of this league.
I'm with you. And for those purists that don't like it, I would say you guys whip out your checkbook. You hold the fundraisers then if it's that important to you. You and I have had these discussions. A lot of people just don't want to do that. They just want to talk. I think Gregg Zaun's Quarantine 15 is you've lost 15 pounds, not added, by the way, Zauni. Just talking to you makes me realize how much I miss chatting with you. You look great. Look at that.
Yeah.
The pipes are still there. Been
tough. I'm a gym guy. I like to work out at the gym. And so, doing body weight stuff and chasing my 5-year-old around and, not always getting to a meal. You hit the nail on the head. I did lose about 15 pounds during this.
I can tell. So, 60-game Major League Baseball season. Your thoughts on how they got here and how you think it's going to go?
You know what? I don't want to be, the Debbie Downer, but to me, 60 games seems like a waste of time, especially given the health of the players, the potential health risks to the game. 60 games is not going to mean much. And to be honest with you, I'm more worried about what's going to happen after the season. The collective bargaining agreement is up for renegotiation. There is going to be a major fight between ownership and the players. They really screwed up royally on the CBA last time, and I'm talking about the players. It's obvious because when you see the free agent market go south back-to-back years, and the players are all upset about how poor the free agent markets have been, how hard it is to get fair market value, let alone a contract in general. But they made this bed. Now it's time for them to lie in it. They traded away their leverage in negotiations with ownership for creature comforts. And it doesn't surprise me one bit. These guys are more worried about whether or not their massage therapist is traveling with them on the road than they are maintaining a position of power when it comes to becoming a free agent. It was tragic, but now they're seeing the results of their poor work and the poor decisions that they made and the really poor collective bargaining agreement that they negotiated.
All right. So in the end, they voted on it. That's why it's a union, right? So they brought it in. And maybe you can explain to our viewers why the mistrust or distrust between Major League Baseball players and owners is toxic. We're just watching and going, wow, they hate each other. You look at the NHL and the Players Association, and I wonder, is it as smooth as it looks? That they're negotiating protocols and extending the CBA. What happened in baseball to break that relationship so badly?
If I'm not mistaken, it's the antitrust laws that only baseball has. The ownership is not required to open their books to the Players Association, so there's no telling how much money they're really making. And I'll be devil's advocate here. I don't believe there should be an industry where the employees make as much or more money than ownership. Ownership, they're the ones that take the risk. They're the ones that pony up $1 billion for a baseball team. And they're the ones that have to run the business. The baseball players are their employees. just like NFL players, CFL players, basketball players, they're all employees. And I believe that they should be able to earn what the market will bear. But, it's toxic because players want more and more and more. And I get it. When the industry is generating $9.5 billion a year at its height, I mean, you just take a look at simple math. If you were to cut it in half, and just call it $9 billion for easy math, $4.5 billion to ownership as profit. The other $4.5 billion goes to players and pays their salaries. That's a lot of money. I don't have a calculator on me right now, but just even if like baseball was socialism and every player made the same amount of money, divide $4.5 billion by 1,000 baseball players. That is a royal amount of money. That's ridiculous. And they're fighting over, creature comforts here and there. I don't get it. It don't make any sense to me. I was a player rep. I was an executive subcommittee member. We're talking about apples and oranges here. We're not talking about the same kind of dough. When I was playing, it was like a $4.5 billion industry, and we were scratching and clawing and fighting. But now, holy smokes. Teams like the Yankees, their television contract is like $800 million. They probably would turn a profit if nobody ever showed up to Yankee Stadium.
Right, which is what the entire NFL is, and they're not fighting at all. It's like, we're playing. I mean, I'll kind of believe it when I see it, but I also know this. The fans don't really like hearing millionaires and billionaires fight over money. They want to talk about the games. So, assuming all things are equal and they do play, what are the Blue Jays' chances of maybe winning the American League East with this exciting young team? I know, I had to ask.
You know what?
I had to ask.
Yeah, anything can happen in 60 games, but, and that's why it's to me, it's such a ridiculous notion to play a 60-game season. Over the course of 162, the cream will always rise to the top. We've seen the Jays get out of the gates really poorly in years past. We've also seen them do decent. So who knows? They get hot and, other teams stumble out of the gate. It could be really interesting. But if we were in a normal situation, I would look at the Blue Jays as, they're going to be battling it out for last place in the American League East. Boston's too good. The Yankees are really good. Tampa Bay continues to be good. So it comes down to who's going to be able to win more games on the mound, the Orioles or the Blue Jays. That's the big question. They're exciting. We discovered last year that Vladdy Guerrero was a little overrated coming out of the minor leagues. Dante Bichette's kid, Bo, was a pleasant surprise, good-looking young player. They've got some nice pieces there. I'm excited for the future, but the short term, no, they're fourth place, maybe fifth. I don't know how many teams are in the East. Yankees, Boston, Tampa, Baltimore. Yeah, they're battling out for fourth or fifth place in the East right now, and probably going into next year as well.
Jays open at Tampa Bay, by the way, with Game 1. Lastly, Zauni, I'll say this. As much as I miss our visits, it's interesting, our viewpoints. I mean, I love America for the reasons that you love Canada. I love the weather.
Oh, yeah.
I love the certain lifestyles. And, of course, I like gated communities and pools. That's not all what America is. But you love Canada for skiing and cold sports and all the things I try to avoid because I don't like being cold. Can you explain to our viewers why you love Canada so much? I mean, we've had these talks over pizza and so forth, but the people haven't heard it. Tell our viewers why you love Canada so much.
Well, for the most part, it's the people, the down-to-earth people. I really enjoyed being here. I mean, things are changing here in Toronto. This is no longer the quintessential, apologizing to Canadian town. It's lost that small town feel, but it's still a beautiful city, a wonderful metropolitan city. But then when you get into the rest of Canada, the vistas, the mountains, the streams, the landscape. I love skiing. I stink at hockey. I barely even play anymore. But I love the idea of getting out there and, roughhousing with the fellas and, slapping it around a little bit, making a few saves, drinking beers. I love the lifestyle. People are, for the most part, really laid back, especially into the prairies and out west. I really, really enjoy it. That's probably where I'm going to end up retiring at some point is in BC, fishing, hunting, playing golf, skiing. water sports, you name it. It's out there and it's available. All those elements are hard to piece together in too many American cities. So a lot of places in Canada can offer that, and that's really what I love to do is be outside and doing active things. So it gives me an opportunity to do that pretty much year round, which is really cool.
Right, but your wife Michelle, she's from Kelowna, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I just remember her saying, "My family loves
like
Gregg." Yeah, and I'm like, well, it's because what you see is what you get. So you better like it, right? Because he's not phony. That's you, Sonny. So, yeah. Anyways,
no hidden agenda by me, that's for sure.
And that's what people like, particularly out here, as you know, in Western Canada. So when the travel bans are lifted and so forth, I can't wait to see you out here on the circuit. And I appreciate the time. Glad to see that you're doing so well, my man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the time, Roddy.
All right, Gregg Zaun joining us from Toronto, 16 years in the majors, World Series champ.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.